Live from Hazard, Kentucky, this is Jammin Jon's Wrestling News. Here's your news for Thursday, August 16th, 2018. We start off with some tragic news, and this isn't news in the professional wrestling world, but news in the music world. Legendary soul singer Aretha Franklin passed away today at the age of 76 from advanced pancreatic cancer. Known as the Queen of Soul, Franklin recorded acclaimed albums such as I Never Loved a Man the Way I Love You, released in 1967, Lady Soul, released in 1968, Young, Gifted, and Black, released in 1972, and Amazing Grace, also released in 1972, before experiencing problems with her record company by the mid-1970s. After her father was shot in 1979, she left Atlantic and signed with Arista Records, finding success with the albums Jump to It, released in 1982, and Who's Zoomin' Who, released in 1985, and her part in the 1980 film The Blues Brothers. Franklin recorded 112 charted singles on Billboard, including 77 Hot 100 entries, 17 top 10 pop singles, 100 R&B entries, and 20 number 1 R&B singles, becoming the most charted female artist in the chart's history. Franklin's other well-known hits include Rocksteady, Jump to It, Freeway of Love, my personal favorite, Who's Zoomin' Who, Chain of Fools, Until You Come Back to Me, That's What I'm Gonna Do, Something He Can Feel, I Knew You Were Waiting for Me with George Michael, and a remake of the Rolling Stones song Jumpin' Jack Flash. She won 18 Grammy Awards, including the first 8 awards given for Best Female R&B Vocal Performance from 1968 through 1975, and is one of the best-selling musical artists of all time, having sold more than 75 million records worldwide. Franklin received numerous honors throughout her career, including a 1987 induction into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, becoming the first female performer to be inducted. She was also inducted into the UK Music Hall of Fame in 2005. In August 2012, she was inducted into the GMA Gospel Music Hall of Fame. Franklin is also listed in at least 2 all-time lists on Rolling Stone magazine, including the 100 Greatest Artists of All Time and the 100 Greatest Singers of All Time. Man, I tell you what, the Queen of Soul, Aretha Franklin. Man, that's a big loss not only for today, but this year. She was amazing. I was a big fan of her music. I absolutely loved her. And I can't believe she passed away. I know that she was gravely ill a couple of days ago, and I hate to hear about that. The first time I ever heard of Aretha Franklin was back around 2001, 2002. I was about 7 or 8 years old at the time. And the first Aretha Franklin song I ever heard was her best-known song, Respect. And that was on Tiny Toons Adventures. Tiny Toons Adventures used to have these little segments where the characters would sing a popular song. That's also where I first heard Yakety Yak, was on Tiny Toon Adventures. And so I remember that's the first place that I heard Aretha Franklin. And that's the first time I ever heard Respect. And after I heard Respect on Tiny Toons Adventures, I was hearing it in commercials, I was hearing it in movie trailers, kids that I was going to school with was singing it. It was still a very well-known song in the early 2000s. And I also heard Think around that time as well, but I didn't know Aretha Franklin sung that. Years later, in 2006, I remember me and my family, we went on vacation to Myrtle Beach, South Carolina. And we went to this place called Legends in Concert. Now, I don't know if it's still around in Myrtle Beach, but Legends in Concert was a concert of impersonators. So you had, of course, your Elvis impersonator, Alan Jackson impersonator, Celine Dion impersonator, the Blues Brothers impersonators, and then you had an Aretha Franklin impersonator. And this Aretha Franklin impersonator was amazing. I mean, it sounded just like her, looked like her whenever she was younger. She killed it. Oh my God, she was great. That was the first time I ever heard Chain of Fools, was at Legends in Concert in Myrtle Beach, South Carolina. And I mean, that Aretha Franklin impersonator done a great job. But of course, not on the same level as the Queen of Soul. I also remember watching Aretha Franklin sing America the Beautiful at Barack Obama's inauguration in January of 2009. I remember a couple of days before his inauguration, I wanted to watch it so bad, because this was history. It was the first African American president, and I really wanted to watch that. And I had school on the day of his inauguration, and this is a true story. The night before his inauguration, it snowed like 2 to 4 inches here at my house. And I woke up that morning and seen on the news that my school district was closed for a couple of days because of the snow, and I was so happy because I got to watch Barack Obama get inaugurated as President of the United States. And I remember watching Aretha Franklin sing America the Beautiful, and oh my God, it was just so amazing. Just like how she sung America the Beautiful at Wrestlemania 3. Oh my God, just so powerful. The last time I seen Aretha Franklin perform on television was in 2016, I think. It was during a Detroit Lions game. It was being broadcasted on national TV. And the Detroit Lions was playing at home at Ford Field, and Aretha Franklin sung the national anthem. And I think that was 2016, and she absolutely blew the lid off the place. She was still an amazing singer at 74 years old. And man, I really enjoyed her music. Who's Zoomin' Who is my personal favorite. That was also the theme song of WrestleMania 3. A lot of people don't know that, but it was. I Knew You Were Waiting for Me with George Michael. That is an amazing song as well. Something He Can Feel is great. Daydreamin' is a great song. So many great ones. Of course, her best well-known signature song, Respect. And she definitely earned my RESPECT. I mean, no doubt. So I ask all of you to remember Aretha Franklin for the music that she left on this earth. Go and listen to it today. If you've never heard her before, go listen to the Queen of Soul. You will love her. I mean, her music was just great. Remember her by listening to her music today. She might not be here on this earth anymore, but she still lives on through her music. And definitely give her a listen today. Thank you so much, Queen of Soul, for everything that you've done in music. It's just been, man, what a voice lost. What a voice. And on the topic of Aretha Franklin, the WWE sent out the following today. WWE is saddened to learn that legendary singer and songwriter Aretha Franklin has passed away. The multi-time Grammy Award winner performed a rousing rendition of America the Beautiful at WrestleMania 3 and again at WrestleMania 23. The WWE extends its condolences to her family, friends, and fans. And I also want to send, on behalf of JJWN, my condolences to Aretha Franklin's family, friends, and fans. And like I said, she definitely earned my RESPECT. Rest easy, Queen of Soul. Maria Kanellis commented on Charlotte Flair referring to Carmella as a diva on this week's Smackdown Live. Maria Kanellis said, "Real diva. Be careful disparaging the women that fought for what you're getting. Experience is more of a witch den, gotta keep it PG, you know what I mean. Entitlement ever will be. We were divas for a reason. We had to be. We all matter in the marathon called the evolution of women superstars, and it's not over. I see you. I'm with you. We were in the trenches together in full makeup, dresses and heels every day, every show, still fighting with babies, careers, husbands, and a stigma. Is it better to fight for the system or the spot? Both. Love you. Together we push the system forward. Apart, we forget our past. Those that forget their past, repeat it." Championship Wrestling League issued the following announcement. Saturday, September 29th at the Brighton Legacy Center, the Sports Dome in Brighton, Michigan, former WWE superstar Big Cass will be signing a full-time contract with the Championship Wrestling League. He will also be given an open mic and promises to release his first public comments since his WWE release. Impact Wrestling star Brian Cage has been added to the All-In event on September 1st. In an interview with SportsIllustrated.com, Seth Rollins was asked about a possible match between Roman Reigns and The Rock at WrestleMania 35. Seth Rollins said, "I'd like it to be Roman Reigns versus Seth Rollins. That's cool too, don't get me wrong, I love Rocky. I think he's great. Love everything he's done for this business. But my gut, my first instinct, says we don't need him. We don't need him. If we're not the guys who can main event WrestleMania, then how are we ever going to be The Rock? How are we ever going to be Stone Cold Steve Austin? We can't hold on to these guys forever. We just can't. To me, let's do Seth Rollins and Roman Reigns before we do Seth Rollins and The Rock. That's me." And finally, here on Jammin Jon's Wrestling News, Billy Corgan recently appeared on Busted Open Radio and talked about his recent issues with Impact Wrestling. Billy Corgan said, "The numbers are out there. I had put $1.8 million of my own cash into the company. If I literally didn't put the money into the company, it would have been shut down. There will be no Impact Wrestling today if I didn't write a check on that particular day." What was weird to me was not only that I was being deceived in my estimation fraudulently, borderline criminal. In fact, I even talked to the authorities whether there was criminality involved, and there were differing opinions about actual criminality. Then once it went into more of a legal process, because that was advised by attorneys, the most likely way to recover my money, which I ultimately did. Billy Corgan continued on by saying, "What was even more shocking was watching people that you had considered only months before literally inventing stories out of whole cloth. I mean, literally inventing situations and scenarios that didn't happen. Then you start getting into wow, I'm in a bad Vince Russo wrestling angle here. Did Vince book this crap? It was you've got to be kidding me. It was wacky world." Thanks to WrestlingInc.com for the quotes. And that is your news for Thursday, August 16th, 2018. Check back here tomorrow for another Jammin Jon's Wrestling News Flash Briefing on Amazon Alexa devices. Big shout out to everybody listening to this on YouTube. Subscribe to my YouTube channel if you haven't already. Stewie Family is the name. Follow me on Twitter at John Caldwell, JONCOLWELL. Follow me on Instagram, the Jammin Jon. If you'd like to sponsor Jammin Jon's Wrestling News or your wrestling promotion wanting to get your next big event out through the awesome power of Amazon Alexa, you can email me, jzcaldwell@gmail.com. That's JZCOLWELL@gmail.com. Big shout out to Ryan Hurdle for subscribing to my Patreon. You too can subscribe to my Patreon at patreon.com/JamminJon. I have free packages on there ranging from $3 to $7. Not a whole lot of money. I would really appreciate it if you supported me a little bit financially. Once again, that's patreon.com/JamminJon. This is Jammin Jon saying thanks, goodbye, and I'll see you tomorrow.